Hello there guys, and welcome back to our car modelling tutorial. And today in this episode what I think we will do is we'll continue down here. We did make a start in yesterday's episode, or last week's, or whenever episode was, the previous episode, and we didn't get massively far with it, made a couple of mistakes, but hopefully we'll rectify those. We do have the same style vent to go at the back here, and obviously in this little bit of a corner. We do have more of a standard honeycomb mesh to run around all in these portions up here too, but we do have like a large interior section that we do need to put together there as well, and then down the side here this is slightly different too. So let's have a little bit of a go at this. So what we're going to do is let's maybe grab both of these, and let's maybe grab this one too, and we'll isolate that selection. Let's duplicate this and just pull it over here, because we can use that one just to throw into there. So let's bring this in a rough orientation as to how we want it, because we know this bit here is fairly straight, so we can kind of bring that in nice and close to the front. I'm not going to remove, let's actually take it a bit more in this direction. I'm not too fussed with it lining up with the blueprints, because you're never really going to know, but we'll take it that way a bit, and we just want to make sure we've got more than enough space going over here. Let's go and do our lattice modifier on this, and let's maybe crank this up. Let's go something like maybe 6 by 4, maybe a bit more, maybe go 8 by 4, something like that. Okay, so I think for the most part running up here we're not looking too bad. Not looking too bad, but not perfect. So let's maybe grab this one and we'll maybe pull this forward. I've got to be careful because we are on a little bit of an orientation, so we will need to do a little bit of either side pulling. Let's maybe just grab these as well, like that, something like that. It's okay. On the top here we obviously do want to push this back, so let's go push that in there. You could even just do a little bit on here as well, just to make sure that's tying in. Let's take both of these. I'm just going to go back and forth on those two axes here. Okay. Maybe keep going a little bit more on this one. This one back too. So just try and get like some general curvature going all the way up there. And let's bring this in here as well. Okay. Just gonna bring these back just a touch. Take these in as well. Push those. So looks like we've got every angle running around there. Maybe I'm just going to go back out a bit more on these now that I've got everything else adjusted a little bit more. Something like that. Bring that a bit more back in this direction. Okay, so that's looking quite nice. So let's grab that and let's go to edit, and we'll delete all by type of history. So we can see that sitting in there really nicely. So what we can do with this now is let's run around, and I'm just going to this isn't going to be tidy at all. In between episodes I'll probably refine this a little bit so it looks a bit cleaner. Obviously you guys should be able to just now go around and make sure that's looking good. Inside there, maybe I'm just going to push this up just so I can get a little bit more in that corner inside there. We're not really going to see it, but we'll just get a little bit more up there. And let's go get rid of all this. And then it looks like on my reference images, it looks like along here we have part of this. So it looks like the first couple, so maybe to about here, along this line, it looks like it's actually missing all of this inside, so it looks like it's going to be like this all the way across. And then all of the flat ones here we'll want to get rid of, like so. I'm not going to do all this just now because, again, just in the interest of time. Actually, let's just quickly run through. We'll grab all of these. Let's get rid of the move tool. So any of these flat edges are going to go. Let's run around down here. Take all of those. Okay, I'm assuming again there's probably something behind here for cooling. Okay, and I'll just run through and grab these last ones here. It's a little bit kind of awkward to see them, so just use your camera to rotate around, because obviously we don't want to be deleting any of those ones, the slanted ones. Okay, I think that's everything there. So those ones have a little bit of a gap, so let's just bring everything back in. We can see there that's looking really nice. So let's go and drop material on here. Okay, so that's looking really good. And then the next vent, it looks like there's no little gaps. So let's quickly grab this one and we'll isolate this selection as well. And again, let's try and find a decent orientation for this, just as a good starting point. I can find my rotate tool. Let's go along here. It looks like we're not going to be too far off right off the bat with this one. Let's just bring that in. Before we lattice this time, let's maybe trim this right down. Something like that. And I'm just going to move it up again so there's no viewable gaps. Okay. And then let's just quickly throw a lattice deformer on here too. And we'll go, maybe 5 is okay. Maybe go 5 and 4, that should be fine. And then the exact same, we're just going to pull these in just so that they're inside of that bit there. So that's looking okay. Now you guys can add as much as you want to these lattice if you want to take a little bit more time with them. That would be best. I'm just going to try and get them done as quick as I can just for the purpose of the video. Okay. And then just to help offset that a bit, I'll just maybe take that in. Something like that. I think that's going to look fine. And And again, let's grab this and we'll delete all by type of history just to get rid of that lattice. And I'm just going to run and delete maybe a little bit more of this. Okay. That should be fine. And again, I'll go and refine that a little bit more in between episodes. Okay, so that's looking really nice inside there. So let's grab both of these. Let's just have a go at flipping them over, Control D, Control G, and -1 on the X. So we can see those are now looking really nice inside there, which is good. Okay, so what we could do next is we could maybe think about this side vent area, just here. Because it might be nice just to get all the vents done around this main area first, so we can do the front, the side here, and then maybe run around the back. I think we've got a generic honeycomb vent down here too. So let's think about the honeycomb first. So I'm going to bring in, not a square, let's go for a plane. So I'm going to bring in a nice plane inside here. I'm just going to scale this up. I'm going to scale it up quite large. I'll move this over. And let's go and get let's increase the subdivisions to 20 and 20. Because we want these to be nice and square. I'm just going to raise it up so you can see. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all of the first edges and I think I'm going to skip 2. Actually, I don't want to grab them that way, I want to grab them this way. So we're going to grab all of these edges and then we're going to skip 2. I'm going to grab these ones and skip 2. And then the same over here. And we're just going to do this all the way from one side to the other. I'll try and get that a little bit better. Grab those, and skip 2, and then we'll grab all of these. Okay, so I've grabbed all of those, and then I've skipped 2, and so on. So what we'll do now with those selected is we're going to go to Edit Mesh, we'll hit Bevel. We're going to boost that fraction all the way up, so we can see that we've got kind of basic generic honeycomb inside here. Let's go and delete all of these faces of the edge because they're useless to us. And let's do the same on this side, and I might as well do the same on the bottom here, and then the top. Okay. All of these are useless too, so we don't want these. Let's get rid of those. We don't need that edge, so we'll go through and we'll just clean all of these extra edges up that run down here. So I'm going to hold down Control and hit Delete. We don't want these ones either through here, so we'll select all these holding Shift. And we'll delete these, but we don't want to delete these holding Control this time because we do want the vertices to kind of maintain the actual shape of this. So I'm going to grab all of these super quick. So we'll select all of these edges this time and just hit Delete on its own. So now we've got that nice honeycomb mesh. And let's grab this and let's rotate this around so it's vertical for us. And we're going to use the front view here, because what we'll do is we'll scale this down to the rough size. So unfortunately we can't actually see, so maybe what would be best is maybe let's rotate that back to how it was, and we could use the sizing on the top here. Oops. Let's go to X-ray. So we can use the sizing up here, so that might help us a little bit better. Just take that right down. It's not that small. I'm just going to hit, let's see if a center pivot helps, maybe a little bit. Okay. So something like that looks like it could be roughly the right size, which is good. So I think what we'll probably do is let's maybe make one that will fit this whole vent here. So let's grab that. Let's hit Control D, and we'll pull this over here. Control D. So we'll probably need to tie 4 of those together in total. So what we'll do is we'll merge these and then we can duplicate, and then that'll save us a little bit of a job. So let's take these back over here. Okay, so I want to merge these 2 together, so let's go D and V so we can move our pivot. D and V, I'll take it over here, and then that should allow us to snap into this bit. Okay, so we can see that's looking good. And let's take both of these and we'll say mesh and combine, and then we just want to grab all the vertices that are associated here. So I think it was all these ones, all of those, and we'll say edit mesh and merge. So that looks good, and then we'll do Control D, grab this, and again we'll go over here, which should allow us to snap there. And then we'll grab both of these, we'll say edit mesh, actually mesh and then combine, and we'll grab all the vertices for this again. Way down here. Okay. So we can merge those 2. And I think that should be okay in terms of what we need over here, which it is, so that's nice. It looks like it should be okay for what we need back here as well. It does look like it should fit just about inside there as well, which is good. And then it looks like it should be large enough for that too, so that's fine. So let's maybe just drop this over there and hit Control D. I'm going to make another one. And let's go face, and we'll grab all of these faces. I'm going to hit Control E. Where it says keep faces together, we're going to turn that off. So let's zoom in nice and close here. And we'll see. Doesn't look like it's going too well in terms of that. Let's actually maybe, let's grab again. Okay, so I'm just going to pause the recording here just to see what's going on with this. Alright then, so that's me fixed mine. I was having an issue where all the faces were kind of merging together, so all the different faces that were on here were just kind of like linked for some reason. So what I actually had to do was I did have to remake it, and I just did exactly the same process, and now it's working. So I'm not really 100% sure what's happened there. Everything's merged here now, so we're back to the exact same point here. If you have the same problem as me, maybe just go back through that process a little bit. I did make it a bit smaller, so I made it 10 by 10 rather than 20 by 20 subdivisions on the plane. I don't know if that changed anything, but it's working now, so that's fine. So what we want to do with this is we are going to select the faces. I'm going to select every single face, just like a minute ago. Well, 10 minutes ago for me. I'm going to hit Control E. We're going to turn off keeping faces together, and we're just going to zoom in here nice and close, and we're just going to have a go here at creating some honeycomb kind of indents. We do want to do the top one and the side one kind of independently, because as you can see it's not quite orthodox in terms of the scale in there, due to it being wider than it is tall, so that's looking okay. I'm also going to pull it down a little bit, just to kind of give me that sharp kind of first portion. I'm going to hit Control E again. We don't really care about keeping faces together now because they're not touching, and we're going to pull that in. Now, I'm going to leave the back in there because on some of these there are no holes through there, or there are some holes. So I'll just leave those in there, and that should be looking okay. So I'm going to push this over to the sides because I've got one now that's flat. That's a new one as well that I copied over. I've got one now with the indents. I'm going to hit Control D, and we'll actually use this one to start to format something within this. So we'll bring this through here. So what we're going to want to do here then is, I think that we need to change a little bit of geometry as part of this. So we're going to need to bring in the door. So I'm just going to unsmooth that. I'm also going to unsmooth this bit here, and maybe these bits. So we'll take, maybe want to do this bit down here too. Okay, and I'm just going to go, let's select each of these and just isolate that selection, because we are going to want to make a small kind of indent in here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Edge, and I'm going to go into the door here, and I'm going to grab all the way down, just starting at this new portion here. So we'll grab all the way through here, including the extra geometry we added for smoothing. So I'm just going to take these, I'm going to hit Control E, and on the world I'm going to grab this, and I'm just going to pull in maybe just something like that. I'm going to grab those, and we'll say Mesh and Extract. So we'll go Edit Mesh and hit Extract on those. Okay, let's center the pivot. So modify center pivot, and then I'm just going to pull that away a little bit, because it does look like on the door that what happens there is that this panel just continues just ever so slightly in the background here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to get rid of that top one, so we'll just leave the one down there, and down here that's intersecting, so let's go for an edge loop about here, and I'm just going to delete that bit down there as well. Okay, let's go grab all these edges and hit Control E, and then on the world I'm just going to pull these in just to match that door. So we'll pull them in something like that. That's looking fine, and then let's go and drop in some edge loops. We're going to go at the top as well, and in the sides, because we want this to maintain the smooth too. Something like that. So just hit 3 on there, see how that looks. Let's get rid of the wireframe. Okay, so that looks nice. We've just got that extra little bit going inside there. Everything's smoothed up nice. So that's good. So we do have a little bit of an extension to that, which is fine. Okay, and what we also want to do is we'll maybe grab this piece, and I think let's go and take all of these edges here. I'm going to hit Control E, and on these I'm maybe going to pull in this way just a little bit, and then do the exact same. I'm going to grab all of that, and we'll go to Edit Mesh and we'll extract that, and then if I center my pivot, pull that ever so slightly away as well, a little bit of a gap. I'm going to grab all those edges, hit Control E. Actually no, let's not hit Control E yet. I'm wondering if actually no, let's do that. Let's grab all those edges, hit Control E, and I'm going to pull it on the world again. We're going to go in this direction this time, so we're going to pull back and along there, and we're going to want to do the exact same. We're going to want to make sure that this is going to smooth nicely as well. So we'll do that, and then let's run up and down this front bit too. Okay, and what this is going to be is this is going to have our rubber plastic material applied to it. Something like that, and let's maybe go back to this one. And I'm just going to isolate the selection here, and I'm going to go and grab this furthest edge. We'll take that top one too. So grab all of that. I'm going to hit Control E on this as well. I'm going to pull this way. I'm going to hit Control E again, and this time I'm going to go that way. I'm going to select all those faces too. We'll go Edit Mesh and we'll extract those. Okay. And what I'm just aiming to do here is I'm aiming to grab an area here which is going to be similar to how we did at the front, where we have this kind of stuff running around. We're going to want the same inside here as well, because we don't want the honeycomb mesh to be essentially attaching itself to I think I've grabbed that down here. I have. And we don't want the honeycomb mesh just attaching itself to the bodywork of the car, so we'll take that there. Okay, and let's go now and do the same. Let's go for insert edge loops on here. I'll drop all those in. And let's maybe go top and bottom as well. Because we're all about those levels of contrast. We want to add a couple of levels of contrast in here. And again, this is going to be our rubber plastic material. Smooth all that off inside there. So we can see now we've got some nice contrast. We've got the door that runs in. As part of that door we have these rubber sections. I think with this I'm just going to want to pull it in that way, just slightly. That's better. So we've got a nice rubber section in where this honeycomb mesh can start to sit. So let's go and bring this in here. I'm going to rotate this around this way and then this way. Okay. Now we're just going to pull this into position. Something like that. I'm just going to go to that frontal bit at the bottom. Let's go for some faces here. Let's reduce the size of this just a little bit, maybe something like that. Let's go nice and straight with it. Okay, and then let's do what we did real quick. Let's go for a lattice. And so I'm going to go maybe 8 and let's do 8 and 14, and then on here we just want to, oops, this one. Okay, so we want some, I'm thinking maybe that's just too much. Let's maybe reduce that down. Let's go for 5 and 10. I think that should be a little bit better. And then what we're just wanting to do with this, exact same as previous, we're going to grab each and all of these, and we just want to make sure it's sitting nicely onto that section there. Let's grab all of these, like so. I'm just going to pull it back so that all these points just fall nicely. I don't really care about this side, it's this side I'm worried about. So I'm just going to pull all these back so that they're just following this body line up nicely, like so. We're just going to keep pulling back on here. Like that. We'll grab these final ones and we'll pull those up here. Okay, so that should be looking good inside there, which will look quite nice again with all that stuff. So the one last thing, let's go to edit and we will delete all that type of history to remove that lattice. I think what we'll do just here guys is we'll probably leave this episode just now. So in between episodes I'll clean this up, I'll clean this front section up as well, and then we'll probably make a start on what's going on up here as well. So if you enjoyed this episode guys, please hit the thumbs up. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down. Subscribe to the channel for more, and I will see you in the next one.